And by go.
What's cracking, everybody? Mighty Smart Guy Matt Sapaula here, hailing to you from Oak Brook Terrace, Illinois. You might have seen me as the host of the Seven Figure Squad YouTube channel, but my day job is the Chief Distribution Officer and Board Counsel here of PHP Agency, the fastest growing financial marketing organization in America today. And I'm here along with my co-host, fellow Field Advisory Board member, and first generation cash flow millionaire, Marlene Gaytan. Marlene, how you doing? Who's our guest today?
So, Matt, I'm doing great. Today we have record breaker here in PHP, Edward Musgrove, with us.
I'm looking forward to the show. Make sure you stay tuned and you share this screen because we're going to get started here in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Can you share a little story here of our great friend from Memphis, Tennessee, Eduardo? I'm sorry, not Eduardo, because TJ is listening, but Edward Musgrove.
In PHP, he's growing a business nationally, and he's a former college athlete. He was telling me that how he broke his bone through the leg in football. Now, I'm not a sports person, but that definitely gave me a visual right there. And he just did something outstanding. He just broke a company record. This is your company record, actually.
Yeah, I broke my record. I love it.
Broke your record, and of course, rightfully so, because he's working with you directly. He's on your team, and he broke the record 13 weeks straight, what we call a perfect week here in PHP. So that, by the way, is no joke. Not a lot of people do that. You got to be an athlete. You got to be disciplined. You got to be just a superstar. So we're super excited to have Edward here with us today.
Musgrove, what's going on, brother?
What's up, Coach? How you doing?
Excellent, man. Broke my record, man, by respect, because it's just not a record of, just one flash in a pan type month or two. It's 13 weeks in a row. That's 2 weeks in a week, and you're not stopping. You're not stopping. I gather this week you're not looking to not do a perfect week, are you?
Not at all. Not at all. We're just focused. We're just focused on, just leading, following your example. And what we notice is, by following you guys from example, we can hit all those milestones. So that's what my wife and I is focused on, just following your example and be in that great environment to hit those milestones that you and Miss Sheena has hit over the past years with our firm.
By the way, for those of you just tuning in right now, we're glad that you're joining the PHP podcast. If you haven't done so already, please share this on Facebook as we're streaming it live right now. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you also share this on your Twitter. You share this on LinkedIn. You share this link with your text message to your friends. Share the PHP podcast. The sooner that people know about us, the sooner they realize who is really disrupting the life insurance industry. Marlene, what a amazing month we've had. We got a jam-packed show today. We're going to be talking about some current life insurance news, some certain things that you never thought that consumers would be thinking about life insurance. We're going to be revealing a survey and a report about what people feel about life insurance today, what a insurance company did to close the racial wealth gap in America today. You're going to hear about that today. We're going to hear some interesting destinations and some dream trips that people will covet, that love to travel all over the world. And by the way, if you are associated with PHP Agency, you also have the opportunity to travel the world together with us. Marlene, speaking of that, what's some of the destinations we've gone to with PHP? Where's PHP Agency taking us? You've been here since you're a co-founder. Where's PHP Agency taking you all over the world?
Matt, I got recruited when I was 23 years old. I qualified for my first company trip, my third month in the business. PHP has sent me to every beach in Hawaii, every beach in Mexico, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Italy, Spain, Dubai. We just went to Qatar. We just went to the Maldives. My parents when my mom went through cancer, we took my parents to Croatia, to Greece, and to Russia to the World Cup. That was 100% all due to PHP. So to say we travel here would be an understatement.
Yeah, and half of those trips, I think we've traveled with you since joining the firm in 2015. I can't tell you. And Marlene, it's not like we just go to trips and just stay at the, rank and file, hotel and venue. I mean, your experience, where have we stayed at in Dubai? Where have we stayed at in Costa Rica?
Oh my gosh. I mean, if you know anything about us, our CEO is Patrick Bet-David. His philosophy is treat your people well or somebody else will. And our home office does the most incredible job of spoiling us with the most incredible hotels around the world, but the most incredible experiences. I mean, I remember, Matt, we rented a yacht in Dubai, jumped into the Gulf. That was hot, salty water. But to think, who gets to jump off a yacht in Dubai and get treated like this? We get to go to the top restaurants around the world, and it's all just because we work hard. And it blows me away because I was working hard before PHP, but I never even got a high five. So it feels amazing to know that you're taken care of here when you perform. And that's why we attract so many athletes like Musgrove.
Yep.
You know what I learned, for any athletes watching this that played maybe in college, what Musgrove, John Mason, and Chris Solis have in common, they all got hurt during their college years as athletes that entered their careers, but they got recruited here in PHP. They're all killing it. They're all making money, and they now get a chance to compete here in the business world. But for any athletes watching this, we attract so many competitive people. So if you've ever played sports, if you've ever had an injury and you're wondering what's next, you should probably check out the insurance business.
But those three names you just mentioned. Solis, what is that? 280 income?
Yes.
Right.
And he's like 5 or something. Yes.
He's with us, what, 2-3 years? Musgrove. Musgrove, rolling 12 months. Where are you at in terms of cash flow so far?
270. We're at 270.
$270,000 in income. You mentioned John Mason. John Mason's at 920 income. Just got a nice fat dividend check. Marlene, you got a dividend check last week. Speaking of professional athlete income, one of the cool things about being a professional athlete, you get these endorsements, you got money just flying at you. We got something a little different here at PHP Agency called dividend checks, right? Marlene, because you're a stock equity owner of PHP, could you kind of share a little bit about what happened to us last week?
Matt, I mean, it blows me away. I was 23 when I was introduced to PHP, and Patrick says I'm starting a company and we're giving equity. I've never owned a stock in my life. I don't even know what equity is. I don't know the difference between equity, stock, what's private, what's public. I have no idea. I just knew that Patrick was a visionary, and I knew that PHP was going to grow somehow. I just knew there was 60 of us. Patrick was 29 years old, but I knew that man is going places, him and his wife. So my husband and I followed. And this last week, we got a dividends check. And again, this is just company profits. Okay. And this is now going to be a regular thing. Our dividends check was $147,000. $147,000. I'm looking at this check and I'm thinking, it's so surreal. I think our income for the month was $260,000. $260,000.
At the beginning of the month of the podcast, I think episode 5 with Phillips, episode 6 or something like that. We were comparing checks. We were at the blend at that time. We showed our Bamboo app. I think you were at 115. We are at like 90,000 for the month. You still beat us by $5,000 this month, Marlene. Goodness gracious! Congratulations. I want to show a picture. You got the bigger check between the two of us. This is a check that we received last. I'm going to show my screen here in a second, so our technical advisor can make sure we share the screen. But here's what we got last week. We couldn't believe we got this check for stock equity ownership in PHP. Stock equity ownership in PHP is real. Right here. It's $123,000 check. Marlene, what was your check again? 140?
147. 147. Honestly, I didn't even want to touch it. I wanted to just frame it and just leave it there, because it's such an awesome time in PHP to know that what we built today, the company is profitable, the company is debt free, the company is growing, and everything that we dreamt the company would be is today. So I think about when I started back in 2009, what took me 10 years to do, a Musgrove will do in a quarter of the time, and somebody will 12 months because the platform has been laid out. So it's beautiful to see the new opportunities for the new people that are now getting started here with us.
Musgrove, let's talk a little bit about how you got recruited into the insurance industry. So, for example, you were out of college, so you were selling newspapers.
Absolutely, yes.
At a kiosk at a mall. You're making what? You're making 6 figures with that, right?
Right. I was making 6 figures, yes.
Okay. So did you get stock equity ownership of the company you were selling newspapers for?
Not at all. Not at all. They didn't even go on a lot of trips. The first company we did, but the second company that I felt like I was, part of, I was the vice president of the company. We didn't go on a lot of trips at all. I don't even think we went on one trip in my 6 years with the firm.
Okay, so you get recruited to financial services because you had a previous financial service company before PHP. Did you get stock equity ownership or the possibility to get stock equity ownership from that company?
Not at all. I just saw the dreams of others, but not at all, not equity at all in the company.
Crazy, man. Crazy. So here, how do you feel now knowing that you got the opportunity here at PHP Agency to own stock equity ownership of this opportunity we're at right now?
This is the crazy thing. We get a link, we get an MD call, and they say, get on the MD call, right? So we get on the MD call, you thinking it's going to be your typical call. So you hear our CEO, PBD, hop up. He's looking for Marlene. Marlene, she pops up, then he's calling out everybody. And we're like, what's going on? I mean, why? Is the numbers not where it's at? Because, our culture is crazy, right? Then all of a sudden he starts saying, you get 40,000, you get a $93,000 check, you get 100. And I'm like,
he's like Oprah.
A lot of us didn't look at it like that. We didn't look at it like that, right? And it's just a great opportunity to feel that not only are you adding value to the company, but you can really be a part of the company. And for showing your sacrifice and your hard work and your dedication, not only a pat on the back, but they're giving you shares and ownership of the company where it can change your generational wealth forever for you, your kids, and your kids to come.
When I'm looking at, by the way, for those of you that's in the chat box, I want to know if you guys were previous company. For those that's in the chat box, I want to know if you had the opportunity where you were at, former career, your former life before financial services, or right now, if you're not even in financial services, you're an engineer somewhere. You're as Marlene was mentioning, you're a professional soccer player, you're a professional athlete. Do you get stock equity ownership of the company you're at right now? I'm curious. I'm curious because this is not a common thing. It was maybe common in the early 2000s. I saw it happen all the time with companies in the .com era, but not a lot of people get stock equity ownership of the company they're either working with, working for, or a part of. Profusion Development. No, we transitioned PHP because of equity. Diana Marquez says no, never. Okay, I'm just curious. You guys get equity. These are the things that we are providing on the marketplace today. So, Edward, let's peel back real quick. Okay. So what made sense for you? Why is a guy like you that's already making six figures, selling newspapers at a kiosk? Why did you decide to get involved in financial services? What recruited you to PHP Agency in the financial services industry?
I was looking for ownership. Once I met my wife, when I actually moved to Memphis, I met my wife, and they said for every great man, there's a strong woman, beside them. And she just asked me a serious question. She said, babe, when are you going to start working for somebody else? You're doing all the traveling, you building the company. The other individual who was the president of the company was doing, he's doing all the traveling, buying all the nice cars, having the nice houses, and I'm just traveling, working, and I was just, looking for an opportunity where I can, compete. I can make income. And when I came over here, the culture is crazy culture. I really feel like I'm playing sports again, but just on a different platform, winning, for my family, carrying my own flag, with my own team name, and that's one of the main things why I came for. I was looking for ownership, and I was looking to be a part of something, and I was looking to bring that old competitiveness out of me, and it came.
For those of you joining us right now, you're listening to the PHP Agency Podcast alongside my co-host, Marlene Gaytan, first-generation cash flow millionaire. And our guest today is Edward Musgrove, who was born and raised in South Central LA. Watts, right, bro? Watts,
yes. I grew up in Watts. I was born at St. Francis Hospital in Linwood, California. My father stayed in Watts. My mom, she stayed in South Central LA. But yeah, that's where I'm from.
And now he's relocated, originally from Watts. Now he's relocated to Memphis, Tennessee, another income tax-free state. Marlene, before we started the show, weren't you guys talking about real estate? Because you had a former mortgage background in terms of what you can get in terms of real estate in Memphis, Tennessee. Were you guys having that conversation?
It's crazy to see how much property values have just gone up. And here in California, I mean, you're talking about a small 3-bedroom little house, and it's $1 million house, just like it's nothing. Right. And it's just, I'm thinking about young families that want to start a family. the cost of living here, it's just, you need to be an entrepreneur. You need to own a business. The whole, go to school, get a degree, 9 to 5, 40,000, 80,000 a year. It's just not going to cut it. Not in California, at least. That's why so many people are leaving. Now, of course, the taxes, but I think it's also just quality of life and cost of living.
Marlene, my sister, who connected me to Pastor Dudley Rutherford, who connected me to Patrick Bet David, she just officially, as of 2 months ago, has departed Woodland Hills, California.
And Woodland Hills is very expensive, by the way, but that area has just become so saturated with homeless people, what you call the San Fernando Valley, because we used to live there. I used to live in Woodland Hills too, by the way.
Wow.
And it's crazy how much it has, it's changed drastically.
So not that we're recruiting for Tennessee, but Marlene, to get a typical house out there in LA, I'm going to ask the same question to Edward here in a second. But to get it, let's get a very, not your $3 million house, Marlene, but
to get 4 million.
Oh, it went up to 4 million. Goodness gracious. Appreciation. So the typical house right there in Orange County, where you're at, with my old stopping grounds when I was in the Marines, to get a decent house out there in Tustin, in Irvine, what do they run?
I'm talking about like 2,000 square feet, nothing extravagant, $1 million minimum. And it's not a big house, by the way. There's just so much competition. There isn't anything on the market. And I know that at the end of summer, they're going to lift the ban where you can now evict tenants. That's going to also increase rents. So, the housing bubble, that's what it is. It's a bubble. Reminds me of 2008. So for people that are like, I'm going to ride the wave. I like security. I like safety. I've already been through that. It kind of gives me anxiety. I think for people that are going to live there and that's their home, but to invest, it's definitely, you need to know what you're doing there.
Got it. Okay. Same question to Musgrove out there in Memphis, Tennessee. What do you get for a 2,000 square foot house?
2,000 square foot house. Depending on the area, you're looking at about 150, 200,000. I know our previous home, 6,400 square feet, that was like 650,000.
So you get a closet here in California.
Yeah, so you can make California money out here and live very well.
I like what you just said right there. You make big city income, but
told me the dream right there.
Yeah, your money goes a long way in Tennessee, guys. If you're looking to build, if you're in Tennessee and you're looking to build a business, make sure you connect with our friend Edward Musgrove there in Memphis, Tennessee. He's also got a business in Nashville, Tennessee too as well. So if you're in Tennessee, make sure you connect with our friend here, our guest, Edward Musgrove. So you wanted ownership. Okay. So you come over here, you had previous financial services experience. What made you keep talking about a crazy culture. What made PHP Agency different than a previous financial experience you had with different companies?
Okay. So from me first transitioning over to the financial service industry, I never been in a position to have a mentor. So I had a mentor there, but that was more of a mentor that was just selling me the dream, selling me what I had, but it wasn't showing me the how-tos. I was motivated. Coming over to PHP, you definitely, now I know the difference when Marlene Gaytan or Matt Sapaula or some of the strong leaders within our firm says that, strong leadership matters. I had no clue. So I come over here, I give you a call. We talked, I give you a call. And that was like a day before Christmas. It was a day before Christmas. And I'm telling you my personal situation, I'm blowing you up. And I know I'm blowing you up. And I believe you were going to the airport to pick up someone at that time. And you're like, I can tell you a player. I can just hear your language. And one of the main things that attracted me to PHP was the leadership is still in the game. A lot of times you go to different companies because the question is, why PHP? There's so many opportunities that look like PHP, but why is PHP? It's because the simple fact the leadership is in the game. When you have guys making, million, 2 million, 3 million a year, a lot of times they're just selling the world and enjoying themselves and enjoying their family. They don't even know who is their 5th, 6th generation broker that has an office somewhere else. Right. But when not only do you have the leadership, but you have your CEOs and the founders of the company, still pouring into you, running meetings, getting you to that next level, like a dynasty team.
Yep.
You know, like the old Dallas Cowboys, which is not my team. You know, I'm a Raiders fan, by the way. But I mean, guys, man, it's just a strong culture, family. We love to compete. And another thing too, as well, is that other companies that I've been of, and I'm not just saying this from just assuming, I've been in that particular environment. You reach out to other leaders because you see what they're doing, you see their wins, you see them making income, you see their big numbers, and you ask them, hey, I want to know, I want to know if you can reach out or share with me these type of, you know, plays you're doing in your business. And the first thing they ask you is what team you're on.
Okay.
And when you mention your team that you're on, I can't do nothing with you, they hang up in your face. Or they bluff you and say, okay, cool, let's schedule a time. And then when you schedule that time, they never show, they never call you. And I'm talking about these big time players in the company. And that's some stuff that happened to me. So that's one of the main reasons why you want to be a part of PHP.
Marlene, I know you and I, we compete, our hierarchies, we compete, man. I mean, we're like, you know, we're here now, episode 10 of this podcast. We're co-hosting this podcast together. Our teams compete like ole, ole, ole. We're like too wide, too deep, you know, in our conventions, and we go at it on stage. We go at it each other. We call you out, you call us out. But behind closed doors, what are we actually doing? Marlene, tell me about it. Behind closed doors, what are we actually doing?
As I'm listening to Edward, I'm thinking about this book. People come to PHP because they want to win. They want to win. And you know, Grover says winning is everything. There is no balance. It wants all of you. And I think that we're so united for the common goal that we want PHP to win. We want PHP to take over the industry, and we're all vested in that common vision. Or, you know, that just doesn't exist, because we see each other. Our affirmation is when one wins, we all win. But we attract so many people that are here because they want to win a championship. They want to know what it's like to feel like a Kobe Bryant. They don't just want to sell insurance. That's boring. You can do that anywhere. People come here because they want high standards. They want to work for a CEO that's in the game, that, you know, will definitely hold you to high standards, will kick your butt when needed. But that feeling, you know, I'm thinking about one of probably my all-time favorite book, How to Make Friends and Influence People. It says one of the needs that people need is the feeling of importance, the feeling to be somebody, right? So we also need sexual gratification. We need food to believe in the life thereafter, the well-being of our children. Most people will meet most of their needs in their lifetime, except for the feeling of being somebody, of feeling important. Most people cannot fulfill that void, and it's a basic human need, just like water, just like food. So for the people that come to PHP, they come here to win.
By the way, if you guys are watching this right now, you're watching episode 10. If you like this podcast thus far, please give it a thumbs up in the YouTube section. If you're watching this on Facebook, make sure you give us a like. And also, Marlene, can you please hold up that book one more time? We are giving away to 3 winners today the book of the month, written by Tim Grover. He spoke at our event a few years ago. He's a personal trainer to Michael Jordan, Dwayne Wade, Kobe Bryant. I think between those 3 names, he's got 13 championships, NBA championships. But the most engaging person that's sharing this with their social media, you put in here, I shared it on social media, I shared it on Twitter, I shared it on Facebook. The person that engages with us in the comment section, that is sharing these videos, I'm going to have Edward Musgrove at the end of this podcast pick 3 winners, and we will send you the book of the month from PHP Agency Podcast to your address at the end of this podcast. Okay. All right. Marlene, Edward, I want to talk about traveling the world real quick. I want to talk about some bucket list destinations, shall we?
Okay.
Because it's June. People are looking at vacation. You know, I think Vegas, as of yesterday, is 100% open right now, which is great news for a national convention in August, which we're going to be talking about here in a second, August 9th through 11th, our annual convention. We're going to have Patrick Lencioni, Mike Tyson, Nicky Jam, Mario Lopez, Frederick DeSelva, which is Marlene's husband's best friend, the revealer of this past, present, and future. But let's talk about some bucket list destinations here. So let's talk about where would you guys like to go on vacation? Here's some of the best destinations in the world. Let's talk about this real quick. Where would you guys, in the comment section, where would you like to go? I'm curious. What bucket list? What is some of your bucket list destination? If you're watching this on live right now, what is your best bucket list destination? If you're watching the replay of this, we want to know in the comment section, what is your bucket list destination? So let's go here to let's start here. Number 15 here. New Delhi, India. I love Indian food.
Yes.
Indian food, butter chicken, some kebabs. Edward, you ever had Indian food?
I love Indian food. Yes.
You
We
do?
have a couple of restaurants out here. I love the buffet. You get full fast, but it's good food.
Yeah. New Delhi, that's the destination. Musgrove, you ever been? Marlene, have you ever been?
No, we just went to the Maldives, so it's right next to India. The food is incredible.
Excuse me.
It's
Went to the
beautiful.
Maldives.
It was beautiful. But what's cool about India? I think they have like 85% of the world's spices. So
India-
there are spices in India that we've never even,
Yes.
had, and when we went to Dubai, there's so many Indian immigrants in Dubai. It's kind of like here in the US, what Mexicans are, all the labor comes from India. So there's a lot of Indian influence in the Middle East, and the flavors are just amazing.
Your friend there, Pieman Sobani, says Marlene loves Persian food.
I do. I love the cherry rice. I do.
You like the yogurt milk?
I do.
Yes. Okay. Number 14, Phuket, Thailand. I was there when I was in the Marine Corps. Phuket, Thailand, patio, Banana Road. By the way, this area was hit by the tsunami a few years ago, but beautiful part of the world. So Uncle Sam took me as a United States Marine. We got back from Somalia, Africa, and for 9 days we're in Phuket, Thailand. First time I ever had alligator. Have you ever had alligator? Crocodile, whatever we call it.
It tastes like.
Tastes like chicken.
It tastes just like chicken. Yeah. I was in Texas. when I was going to school, when I was going to college at Prairie View, and we went to Highway 6 and the Jones Road, the little city out there in Houston, and my mom came down and we ate at a location, and yeah, it tastes just like chicken.
That's it, man. A bunch of elephants out there too as well. Number 13, Morocco. Do we have any Moroccans? Do we have any Moroccans on our podcast right now? Morocco, pretty interesting destination there too as well. You guys ever been to Morocco?
No, I would love to.
Yeah, that just sounds freaking exotic.
Exactly.
Number 12, Cambodia. Siem Reap. Pretty interesting. By the way, PHP, we got to do a Asian tour. It's just a long flight though. It's just we got to do like Korea, Cambodia.
No, Sheena will come back though.
she might stay there and find herself in the Korean barbecue spots.
Right.
My wife is half white, half black, but everything about her inside is Korean. She loves Korean food, Korean dramas, K-dramas, K-pop. What do you call those things you put on your face? Those face things, Marlene. You look like a Jabberwocky.
I know all of her skincare is Korean. That I'm sure of.
Number Vietnam. Speaking of Vietnam, love to go to Vietnam. Beautiful, beautiful country. A lot of our clothes now are starting to be made in Vietnam. Number 10, Istanbul, Turkey.
That's nice.
Love Turkish food.
I've only been to the airport in Istanbul, but you know what? Fun fact: I think they're number one in plastic surgery in the world today for nose jobs.
Istanbul, Turkey.
Yeah, that was a fun.
Biggest military ally we have is a military base ally that we have there. Barcelona, Spain. You've been to Spain, Marlene, right?
Beautiful paella. They have a lot of paella everywhere. The sangria is beautiful. We had a flamenco show. We went for El Clásico. So this was a company contest, and we took our top guys there. I think it was like 50 of our guys to see Barcelona. No, I don't even know. Tells you how much I know about sports. Okay, so it was Messi and Ronaldo playing. That's all I know.
Of course, two biggest name in soccer.
Had our Mexican flag there, so it was definitely an experience.
Love it. It's Barcelona, Spain. Bangkok, Thailand. We're back to Thailand. Phuket, Thailand. Bangkok, Thailand. You guys want to know? You guys want to know a little secret of me?
Yes.
Yes.
Share a little dirty secret of the Money Smart guy.
Okay.
My tailor is in Bangkok, Thailand. My custom suits.
Oh, okay.
All the stuff that you see me wear, right there.
So how did he fit you? You went online or what?
I went here to a local tailor. He needed the measurements. He measured me out. I told him I want this type of fit. I sent him a picture of what I want. But my first tailor suit ever made when I was in the military was in Korea. So I know this happens all the time. So
That's awesome.
number 7, karate. Karate. Is that the way you say it properly? Karate or Crete?
Karate, Greece.
Greece. Marlene, how'd you like our Greece trip? Did you like our Greece trip a couple years ago? This is where Jordan was made.
It was a honeymoon for you and Sheena, but I'll tell you, it was a beautiful experience, and I took 2 toddlers. If you've ever been to Europe and then Greece with 2 toddlers, I'll tell you this, I spent my whole time chasing them, but the memories that we had, the experience that we had, to know that my 2 toddlers were able to experience that, it's very, very blessed.
That's amazing. How many stamps and a passport do your boys have already?
A lot. They do. When we talk about travel, Lukey says, "Oh, I've been there." If you ask Lukey what his favorite place is, he'll say Jamaica. If you ask Lukey where he's from, he will say Jamaica. His favorite trip has been Jamaica. He thinks he was made in Jamaica. So,
well, Mom, was he made in Jamaica or what?
He loved Jamaica for some reason more than any other trip, so he can't stop talking about Jamaica.
Another location here in Vietnam. This list here, TripAdvisor, 3 destinations in Vietnam. So Hanoi, the other destination was the other Vietnam area. Hanoi, Hoi An, Hanoi, another one, Vietnam. Number 5, Paris, France. Oh, we're about to go on a Paris trip.
Yes, and Monaco. So for those of you looking to make a run for the company paid trip, we have till the end of this year to qualify for this thing. Hey, Musgrove, we got to do like a TikTok in front of the Eiffel Tower, bro, something like that.
Oh, that'd be fun. Let's do it.
Beautiful. I cannot wait. The last time we won a company trip to go to Monaco. So my husband got a chance to go to France. I didn't go because I was 8 months pregnant. So the airline wouldn't let me travel at the time, but he had a chance to experience it with one of our teammates. So I'm super excited to get a chance to go.
Number 4, Rome. We didn't go to Rome. We flew into Venice. We flew into Venice.
I love Rome. I've been there twice. I grew up Catholic. I'm Christian now, but to get a chance to see a Catholic mass in Latin in the Vatican was just an amazing experience.
Wow. Musgrove, you ever been?
No.
Looking forward to it, man.
Looking forward to it. It'll be fun.
Dubai, freaking Dubai.
Oh, I love the best food. I'll tell you this, from all my travels, my favorite food has been Qatar and Dubai.
Nice.
I think they're right. I like Middle Eastern food. That's been my favorite.
What do you call people from Dubai? Dubanese?
That's a good point. I don't know.
If
anybody knows, comment.
What do you call people from Dubai? I'm Dubanese. I'm Dubanian. I don't know.
It's just weird to see taxi drivers drive Lamborghinis.
Oh, great. Funny thing. I was we were in that Sahara Desert tour, right? In that bus. I looked to my right, Lamborghini. I was telling the bus driver, this freaking baller. He goes, that's not a baller. The guy to the right of him is a baller. And we looked to the lane. The guy also had a Lamborghini, but the difference between him driving a Lamborghini and the other guy having a Lamborghini is in the passenger side. What was in the passenger side? A freaking cat. I'm not talking about Garfield either. I'm talking like one of those wild cats, like the black a panther, like one of those dark jaguar. When you have a jaguar,
you saw that in real life?
Oh yeah, that's a baller. He's got a kitty cat.
You only saw that on TikToks. That's crazy.
That was for real. Guys, 20 years ago, I my resume at Dubai because 20 years ago I went back there to fight the Persian Gulf War. But to go back as an entrepreneur in a company paid trip, to go on, like Marlene said earlier, 82-foot yacht, life changing. Number 2, London. I think this is where vampires are created, man. I don't know about you, man. Go to London, man.
Why you say that?
All those vampire movies, hanging out in London.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm looking forward to this, man. A lot of money in London, in the UK. It's like New York out there, man. Just like balling out in London. Number 1 TripAdvisor destination. And number 2 is what? Back to Asia, Bali, Indonesia.
Man, that water looks beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Look at that. So some of you guys are I got corrected. People from Dubai are called Emiratis. because from the United Arab Emirates. Okay, it's
Oh.
not Dubanese, not Dubanians. So cool. Some of you guys want to go to Paris. Some of you guys want to go to River Falls. Some of you guys want to go to Jamaica. Ida Lawson also loves Jamaica. Hiram Figueroa says Argentina. Argentina. No. What was that song?
Argentina is amazing.
It's awesome, man. D'Amica White says, had the privilege of meeting Jamie Musgrove at Trainer Trainer at Hotel Restaurant after training. She asked us what we're team around. We said SOS. Jamie Musgrove was so willing to provide value and encouragement. That is Edward Musgrove's wife, Jamie. Bro, what's it like working together with your spouse, bro? Tell us that before we transition to talk about life insurance.
Woo! But you know, that's why I love our culture and our environment. You know, before Jamie and I, you know, we were working, you know, in the same arena, but we weren't working together. And you know, coming over to PHP, you know, being so grateful for Marlene and giving us some advice about being couples and how to work together and not telling your spouse what to do. And this right now, if you're asking me, I love it. You know, we eat dinner, we talk about who we're going to attack next, the next competition. You know, we spend time. She's my best friend. You know, everything is not perfect, you know, and it's, you know, relationship is always a growing phase, but I wouldn't change it for anything, man. I enjoy it, and we have fun together, and we argue together. We upset when we lose, and it's just a win-win situation.
That's it. You get to know your spouse. For those of you listening to this podcast, have you ever thought about working together with your spouse, just like Marlene and Jose do, just like my wife Sheena and I do, and just like Edward and Jimmy do? If you guys ever run across our culture book, which is something we do every year for our company, you're going to find out that the most successful people in our company. And by the way, when's the last time somebody told your story? For those of you watching this, when's the last time somebody told your story? When's the last time somebody helped build you become a hero? Right? And these are our guys. I just happened to open up a page here to Marvin and Dee Del Valle out of Orlando. Right? Another husband and wife couple working together. Honduran, and she's Indian. How's that for a couple, huh?
Yes. You know, Matt, for all the couples that are watching this, I think about just the growth individually and in a marriage that you make here in PHP. This month, I'm doing my my marriage seminar. I do this every couple of months, and when I do this, I mean, we put months of preparation into it. But to know that you're going to be equipped with the tools, you know, to improve your marriage, your communication, your business skills, to know that you're not alone. There are so many families that start a business. Maybe they bought a franchise, or, you know, they started some sort of business, but who do you call about marriage advice? Who do you call about, you know, business to have that? Here we have such an environment of couples working together, you know, so if you're watching this and you're looking for something like that, you definitely want to check out PHP Agency. If you're looking for personal growth, I hope that you like reading, because we do a lot of that here. But I always say the happiest people in the world are people that are growing. Stagnant people are unhappy people. Happy people are people that are congruent and people that are growing. And it's crazy to see how even our children take after that. You know, monkey see, monkey do. Our children see us read, so that they're going to read. And the same thing with the people that we mentor. They see growth in the leader, transformation in the leader, then they're going to follow soon after.
My mother was talking to me about Sheena and I the other day, because we're making this transition now. She's like, how long you been married now? You've been married how long now? Mom, 6 years going on 7. 7 years. 7? You got the 7-year itch? Machu, you got the 7-year itch? I'm like, Mom, I don't know what's the 7-year itch? So Mom, we've been working together since 2000. We've been working together 7 years already, 8 years, which means
dog years.
Yeah, we got dog years. We got what? 7 times. We have 21 years of arguments already under our belt, and we're studying. you know, Marlene, dog years. That's funny. That's funny.
It really is, because you spend so much time together.
Yeah.
You get a chance to learn so much. You know, I always think people that have a 9-to-5 or have separate careers, you're going to come home and say, honey, the funniest thing happened to me at work, but they weren't there. They don't know the coworkers. They can't relate. They don't know what the goal is or where you're going. Separate interests become separate bedrooms. But here we fight together, but we grow together. So you become very united.
Oh,
I agree.
Freaking Marlene always dropping the relationship wisdom. By the way, do you guys love Marlene's talks? For those of you inside the PHP family, don't you love Marlene's talks when it comes to marriage and relationships? I mean, she gets requested by multiple people inside the company to talk to their teams about marriage and relationships. And I can't tell you how much we've gained a lot from Marlene in those talks. A lot of wisdom is dropped. It's like Marlene's ministry. It's like Marlene's
So funny. When I was little, I thought I was going to be my first dream was to be an opera singer. And then I made the dogs cry. So I realized I had no talent there. Second dream was to be a reporter. I was in the school newspaper and I realized they make six figures. And I'm like, that's not enough. And then I thought I was going to be a professor, and now I think about what I do. It's like, I teach insurance, but what I teach is leadership. And I can't believe I get paid for what I do. I just did a seminar on happiness and people had to qualify. And you're thinking, what does that have to do with insurance? Everything. Happy people make money.
Yep.
And you may think, and I'm thinking, I can't believe I get a chance to get paid to do what I love, and it's a passion of mine.
Yep. Savali Tuaviave says, I love Marlene when she shares about marriage and relationships. Straight Doll Stephanie says, I love how supportive PHP is towards couples. Legacy Crusade says, Marlene's ministry has a good ring to it. Marlene's marriage ministry. Triple M.
I always tell people I'm not a pastor. I'm a sinner. That's why I go to church on Sundays, so I can wash a little bit of the sin of me, right? Jesus came to save all of us. So
Marlene, hey, pastors are sinners too.
That's right. Everybody's a sinner. Only one person has walked on water. So
that's right. And yeah, exactly. So I want to talk about life insurance real quick. And by the way, for those of you that's on here, stay posted because we're going to share some success stories of some of our PHP agents that are new with us. We're not talking about the Edward Musgroves of the world is over $280,000 of income. We're talking about the brand new people that's been with us less than 6 months, the brand new people that started with us during this pandemic, the brand new people that just got recently licensed in the last 12 months, working together with us without having to buy leads, without having to do dinner seminars, without having to put ads in a newspaper, but utilizing our system, referral-based marketing system to obtain leads, how they recruit and retain their best people, how they recruit and retain and find opportunities to talk to small groups, churches, schools, precincts, firehouses, how they get in front of people to talk about money. You're going to hear some quick stories about their success here towards the end of the podcast. But I want to talk about life insurance right quick. I want to share this on the screen, if I may. But this screener says that life sales strong spring may be a harbinger for a year. If I'm referencing Insurance Newsnet website, which is pretty much the authority inside the life insurance industry. This is our trade publication. But check out the stat. 59% of uninsured consumers say they need life insurance coverage. 73 million people need our help. 22% of underinsured consumers believe they need more life insurance coverage. That's another 29 million people. So here's the opportunity. 102 million Americans feel that they need more life insurance. Another stat that's not on here, another stat I looked up is 55% of consumers last year talked about life insurance during the pandemic. So Musgrove, I want to hear from you. You obviously, your business grew during the pandemic and we weren't getting together in our offices. It was Zoom. It wasn't normally face-to-face. What's the sentiment? What's the chatter, boots on the ground in Memphis, Tennessee? And by the way, you're just not in Memphis, Tennessee. Tell everybody what other cities and states that you're in, and also what's the sentiment of life insurance in your community.
Absolutely. And I want to ring on what you talked about, growing up where I grew up from, life insurance wasn't talked about. That was like a private conversation. It was one of those conversations that your grandma, she used to hide, her life insurance policy, underneath the mattress, and you got to tear up the house to find, where it's at because she did not communicate it with her kids nor her brothers or sisters. But I tell you, when my father passed away, the most successful person in my family, what we thought success was at that time, they paid for the funeral. When my grandfather passed away, thank God he was in the military. The military paid for the funeral. When my grandmother passed away, and this is all on my father's side, not on my mom's side, on my father's side. When my grandmother passed away, the most successful person paid for the funeral. It's the same person. My Aunt San and my Uncle Sonny, the same person all the time. And the funny thing is, when it comes to our community, a lot of them, when we're communicating and talking to them, it's always, I have to do my research. Or they don't understand the importance of generational legacy. If they do get insurance, the most of the time that they look at is, give me the bare minimum, just give me $10,000. And until you start explaining that life insurance is not death insurance, and all these other companies like your typical McDonald's, your JC Penney's, all these big time companies utilize life insurance to build, a massive business, then it start opening their eyes up. And to myself, before I came into this industry, and I was making the income I was making, I didn't even have a life insurance. I didn't even have a $10,000 policy at all.
Oh.
Now in PHP, my wife and I know personally, I have 6 policies. I have 6 policies currently right now on me for my wife, my kid, my son, and they have policies. And it's just, we need more of us in the industry so we can go out there and help families change legacies, because insurance is so important. Because I always tell anyone that I bring on board is, my parents didn't know better. And I really feel if they knew better, they would do a better job. Now that I know better, I want to be in a position that my kids can use their God-given talents, and they're not waking up being adults and they're just working just to pay bills and do all that stuff, and they're not able to use their God-given talent because they're working so much to feed themselves or provide for their future kids.
That's
Powerful
awesome.
story, brother.
Yes. Matt, I think that fear sharpens listening. And I think after a year like COVID, people are open to life insurance unlike ever before. I don't know if you've seen the CDC. They have new reports of a zombie apocalypse coming. It's a joke on TikTok, but it's really on the CDC website. So it's actually pretty funny. But I think a lot of people right now, there's uncertainty. There's COVID. There's the people that want to get vaccinated, the people that don't want to get vaccinated. And I think this makes people think about the what ifs. So I think the demand for insurance has definitely been thought about by people that normally would not think about. And I think especially for parents, you want peace of mind. My husband always makes fun of me. He says, I'm paranoid because I want an underground bunker. I want guns. I want a helicopter. Said, hey, if Bill Gates and the filthy rich people have all of that, why can't we?
Yes.
Right? And especially when you have children. I never thought about guns until I was pregnant. When I was pregnant, I thought, oh my gosh, what if there's an earthquake? What if there's this? And I think like a mom today, whereas I didn't, maybe 10 years ago. But I think all parents want peace of mind. That's one of the needs that we talked about in the book, How to Make Friends. It says one of the needs is the preservation of life thereafter, and of course, the well-being of our children. So I think that's why right now insurance, it's such an attractive business, because the fear is sharpening the listening.
Guys, if you're enjoying this conversation, please mash this like button on our YouTube channel. If you're watching this on Facebook, make sure you click like, and make sure you follow our business page, PHP Agency Inc. Interesting thing about here is who's talking about life insurance. Interesting stat here, again, on Insurance News, that magazine. Who is talking about life insurance? 44% of baby boomers are talking about life insurance right now. 50% of Gen Xers, which no bias. Edward and I are part of that. Edward, are you a millennial or are you a baby or a Gen X?
I'm a Gen X. I missed the millennials. Born in 80.
1 year.
1980.
So you're part of the sexiest generation of humankind created by God.
Absolutely.
Amen. 64%. But that's why it's Gen X. It means sexy. 64% of millennials are talking about life insurance. But here's a shocking stat. According to Value Penguin, 72% of people talking about life insurance right now are Gen Z.
What?
Yeah, people under 25 years old. But however, with that being said, 48% of those that have a life insurance policy through their job, they don't know the difference between, or they don't know have any plans to supplement the policy. But 55% don't know the difference between term, whole life, term and permanent whole life insurance policies. So still education to the community is still very needed.
And it's funny you say that. I remember before the pandemic, we had a total of about 41, maybe 42 actual agents come into office, right? And then when the pandemic started happening, we went from 60 licensed agents to 387 licensed agents in 8 different states, right? Like more people, looking for life insurance because they see, what's, the news designed to scare us. And of course, and they say it over and over again and brainwash us, hey, make sure you cover your mask. This person, maybe got in a car accident, but they label them as a coronavirus, right? So, but at the same time, though, I see a lot of Gen Zs and a lot of millennials and a lot of people that were getting into business because a lot of these jobs were falling. People are looking for recession proof. Insurance is recession proof. We have an office now in Nashville, Tennessee. We have another one in Atlanta. We have another one in Arkansas, and a couple of brokers here in the Memphis area. And we're just expanding like crazy in the community. And a lot of people say the pandemic was, it killed them. Their business fell and all this stuff. And with us in the life insurance industry, it was a good thing. It was a good thing. We definitely prevailed, and we definitely our income went rocket high. We went from 160, I believe, in income to making like 157,000, in a couple of months, due to the pandemic.
Who's your number one income earner right now in your organization across the different 8 states?
The number one income earner, if we're talking about my MDs, is
MDs,
Autumn. She made 15,000 last month. She's only 24 years old, college student, single, own her own brokerage, have equity within the company. Then underneath her is another. They're about to be MD. They need one more licensed agent. They're in Ohio. That's another office I didn't recognize. We have an office in Ohio too as well, and that's Jamal and his wife Alicia Akbar. He comes from logistics. His wife was a coach. She's a coach. She quit her job. I said was a coach. She's full time with us in PHP Agency. They made 18,000 their first month license, and right now rolling. They're about to hit their watch. They're about to hit 50,000 in income.
They buying leads, bro? How they making 18 grand a month? They buying leads, man? They putting ads in the paper?
Not at all. Not at all. They just, people need us, from referral marketing, friends seeing what they do on social media, and everybody just paranoid what's going on with this pandemic. They want to make sure their family is covered.
Yeah, my thoughts about buying leads, man. That saying, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. You buy a lead, you'll eat for a day. But you teach them how to fish. You teach them how to prospect. You teach them how to go out there and make a name for themselves, build a brand. That man or woman will eat forever. Marlene, go ahead, Marlene.
I wanted to share that this last month of May was a record-breaking month for us, but TGA organization, this is like, higher. We paid out $2.4 million in commissions. Million in commissions. And to think about it, it's such a dream, because my husband and I started with just 2 of us going to Phone Zone, not having gas money to even go drive, because we had to drive to see a client, to see it grow in a decade from just my husband and I to now our business paid in 1 month $2.4 million nationally. It's just, I'm so grateful to PHP. I'm so grateful to our mentor, our coach, our sidelines, and it's a great feeling to know that people are able to feed their families.
MSM, we're not too far behind. We paid over $2 million in cash flow last month, $2.28 million in cash flow in 1 month to our licensed associates. Of course, one of those being Edward Musgrove. By the way, one stat here, life insurance, before I share some other success story of agents, and Marlene, I want to start with you on that segment. But Musgrove, New York Life, I'm not talking about the company, I'm talking about the act. They pledged, because of this whole racial wealth gap, they pledged $1 billion of an investment initiative to address the racial wealth gap by investing in underserved and undercapitalized communities over the next 3 years. In addition, Fairview Capital is committed to $150 million to invest in diverse and emerging fund managers. What are your thoughts about that, man? How has life insurance, working together with PHP Agency, helped you close the racial wealth gap even within your community without having to depend on other people?
It's funny you say that. And it's crazy, from growing up where I grew up at here in Memphis too as well. I'm in Memphis, and you see a lot of people with 9 to 5s, with different careers, that's still utilizing the government with food stamp cards and things of that essence. And it's not just them doing that, them creating it. It's from how they were raised. It was from how they were raised. And thank God, being around PHP and being around, my sideline leadership, it's put my wife in her position, and a lot of the people that we actually brought on board and mentoring coaches, where we haven't needed a dime since the pandemic at all.
You weren't in line for the PPP loan?
No PP. I didn't even utilize the PPP loan. That's the funny thing about it. But no PP loan, anything at all. But it's sad that, a lot of, and it's our community. It's our community. Our community, have income. Some of us make income, but for some reason it's always, what is owed to me and what was done to us. And we have to, our mindset, it has to change. Our mindset has to change. Me being a husband and a father, to 3 beautiful kids. My son is 2 years old. My daughter is 14.
Peace.
My son is 14. And I want to be an example to my kids, because if you see in certain articles, when it's talking about the African American community, they say that it's always single moms. It's single moms, single moms. And the mindset they're trying to put in these moms' head is that you don't need a male figure at the home. You don't need a male figure at the home. We give you so much, in food stamps and welfare checks, and let's make sure, you take your baby daddy, or you take your person that you divorce, take him to court so you can garnish, pretty much all. And I've seen this stuff where you have a hardworking father, sometimes in our community, a hardworking father, and he's probably making $2,000 a month on his check, and they're hitting him with $1,500 a month for child support, right? And that starts, and Marlene, I remember her talking on stage, and she said that the most important thing is that a kid is getting love from their father. And I see you all the time when I come out there, pouring into your daughter and pouring into your kids and pouring into all your kids, and just showing that, because I never had that example. My parents argued 24/7. My father passed away at a young age, and when my father was alive, don't get me wrong, he took care of us, he made a lot of money, but not doing the right thing though. But he made a lot of money. But at the same time, I want to be in a position where I pour into my kids, I showed them an example, because it's how you raise them and the environment they're around that's going to lead them to be presidents and be CEOs and be the best they can be, in their adult life.
By the way, great comment here by D'Amica White. She says, I worked as a life and health insurance agent over 10 years, but we were trained to upsell life insurance. It was not a priority. Homeowner and auto insurance industry was. She's excited now to educate families and change that narrative, because nothing changes the financial dynamic of a life than a splash of money coming from a death benefit or living benefit from a life insurance policy. So that's profound stuff. And that's what PHP is all about. If you guys have ever run across the PHP Diversity Report, which was released by Chief Reputation Officer Marel Kashashian, what's the number now, Marlene? How much of PHP now is Latino?
I think it's 44%.
44, correct. 44% now. It used to be 51, right? But because the increase of the African American community, led by people like Edward and Jamie Musgrove, like Chris and Vicina, like Damien Chelsea Mackey, like Vic and Anna, right? Craig and Maritza, large African American influx has come into PHP Agency. I think it's like 34% right now. And so when we're looking at a PHP Agency right now, we are attracting the underserved and overlooked multicultural minority community. That's what makes PHP Agency different. And with that being said, Marlene, I like to have you share some of the success stories of some of your newest agents there that you're working together with.
Oh, Matt, we had, I can give you so many different examples of people that are making money. One of the stories that stands out is Edna. Edna works out of our Long Beach office, and this is a single mom of 5, and she's been here. She speaks Spanish for the most part, and she messaged me so excited. During the pandemic, she's homeschooling her kids, and she said, Marlene, this month I made $7,300 here at PHP. And just to see her excitement to say, wow, this single mom of 5 is able to feed her family. And, because she's an agent here with PHP, it's such a blessing. But our highest earner this month made $98,000. We had, I think the list is now 39 people that made over $10,000.
Wow.
Wide. Yeah. So, I mean, and to see all the part-timers that are just brand new, just got licensed, so many of these stories, it's just a blessing to see that grow more and more.
It's so awesome to know that new people can come to in our system. We teach them the industry. We teach them how to get a life insurance license. We teach them how to use that life insurance license. We teach them the basic skills, because 89% of our field force has zero life insurance experience. That's why other insurance companies love our people, because we know how to convert brand new people into the insurance industry. And by the way, I ask this question all the time. How many guys were heavily recruited by the insurance industry before PHP? Nobody raises their hands. But as soon as they get their life insurance license, guess what happens? How many guys are now being prospected heavily by financial service companies? And all the hands go up. They've been licensed for a month. They've been licensed for a week. They're licensed 2 months. Because now people buy, insurance companies buy the state database of life insurance agents, and then they solicit them after. It's funny how that happens. So the awesome stories we got here on MSM. We got some amazing stories here. 7, 8 of our guys, brand new, are over $7,800 in cash flow. One I want to highlight here real quick: Mike and Jackie Pulalasi, brand new to us. Now increasing the Polynesian community. Between them and under your team, Marlene and Jose, is Christine Savali, also Polynesian out of San Antonio, which we loved working together the last 90 days through our March Madness competition. She was just, by the way, Marlene, she came through like a gem on closeout. Number one.
Honestly, 100%. I'm so impressed with her.
Number one on our captain's list for closeout night in the entire company, Christine Savali, Polynesian. But our number one income earner in the last, actually not even the number one income earner, I think the number 3 income or number 2 income earner, I like them because they've been licensed for 80 days now, 70, 80 days now. So I want to share a clip of this Polynesian couple from the Pacific Northwest, brand new to the insurance industry, Mike and Jackie Pulalasi, and this is what they had to say. Let's check this out.
How's it going? My name is Mike Pulalasi.
And I'm Jackie Pulalasi.
We're here at Tacoma, Washington, here in the Pacific Northwest. My background is in truck driving. Been driving for over 13 years.
And I'm a stay-at-home mom to our 4 beautiful kids. Here at PHP in the last 90 days, we made about $15,760. So yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Hey.
Super proud of Mike and Jackie Pulalasi representing the Polynesian community. Yeah! Man, I'm fired up for them. $15,000 within inside the last 90 days. Last month, I'm just looking at my report here. Last month, they were well over $7,200 in cash flow. Again, a rising couple, setting some amazing, massive company records just with inside not only our hierarchy, but also with inside the company. Edward, as we start wrapping up, brother, what's it like, man, for you to teach new people this industry, to teach people brand new to the insurance industry how to take the simple thing, such a life as a life insurance license, and start creating a full-time income and then transition to a full-time business?
It's crazy you said that. It's like birthing a new child. When your wife, she has a baby and she's spending time with that baby, and you see it mature, and then it's always spending time with you. It's just like the same thing bringing on a new agent. New agent, they're actually, first of all, nervous. They're excited about the different examples you give, but they're nervous. They don't think it's going to work, and you constantly pouring into them, and you see them get their first win, their second win. And then now they involved, then now they're in their teenage years, 14 years old, 15 years old. They feel like they don't need you anymore. They can do what they want to do. And then they realize, that, okay, cool, I still need my parents. And you just groom them and groom them and groom them. And they become very strong and they start winning. And, they don't never teach that type of stuff in our community, looking out for others and helping others. It's always about self, and what I can do so I can be on top of everybody and I can be that face and that person. And coming over into this environment and giving people opportunity, first of all, you continue to be blessed because you're helping others, because the formula is you help others, you win yourself. Like we have Jamal, we have Jamal Akbar out of Ohio. They made $10,000 We have Jay and Julia Young. I don't want them to kick my butt. Jay and Julia Young, an MD out of Arkansas, they made 15 grand, right? We have Autumn.
She's got the PhD. He's got the master's. So
yeah, she has
we want to make sure that we know.
Right. Then we have Chris and Yancey. They made 6 grand, right? You have Bridget. She just hit MD last month. We popped out 2 new MDs. She made 4,000. Then we have another person, Tonia, 4,000. So it's like, wow, it's so amazing that you have other people making income, and it's not just you and your significant other and your wife. It's like you really helping out others so they can believe in themselves and be self-efficient, where they don't need a 9-to-5. They need a job to feel that they have to do that to make consistent income.
That's it. By the way, before I let you go, and I'm going to ask Marlene for her final thoughts here in a second, but I want you to go to the chat box, Edward Musgrove, and I want you to select 3 winners from the live chat. So make sure if you're watching this, you don't go away, because Edward's about to select some winners here. The most engaging, sharing, a live viewer of this podcast episode 10. And we're going to pick some, Edward's going to pick 3 winners here. We're going to mention these names at the end of this podcast, because you're going to win the book of the month, which is Winning by New York Times bestselling author Tim Grover. Marlene, final thoughts to this episode here, episode 10.
It's just call to action for all the people that want to win. This summer, I think about, the ant and the husk, grasshopper. So many people are going to travel and do things and just have fun. But there is a certain group of people that are crazy, that are saying, you know what, I've been, watching Netflix and chilling this whole pandemic. I want to do something. I want to win. I want to make money this summer. I want to reinvent myself. For the people that are eager to reinvent themselves, we just can't wait to meet you.
Cannot wait to meet you. By the way, if you're watching this right now and you say, you know what, how can this really get, how can I really get this done? You're looking at you're looking at a Filipino, which is myself. You're looking at Latina, which is Marlene. You got African-American, which is Edward. We all speak in one language, the language of free enterprise, the language of capitalism, entrepreneurship, taking ownership, not waiting on anybody. That's our style, guys. We're not complainers. We are solution seekers. PHP Agency is just creating a movement to help people understand, man, you can create yourself from nothing to something, that you go from scratch to success. And if you've been looking for something and you are in the Tennessee area, Arkansas area, as you just heard Edward Musgrove mention, make sure you follow Edward Musgrove, who's been our guest on this show. Make sure you reach out to him and you directly contact him on Instagram. We've been showing his handle the whole entire time. Make sure you follow him, Edward Musgrove, in that area. But if you are in Los Angeles, you are in California, you are in Arizona, make sure you reach out to my co-host, Marlene Gaytan. She's got teams all over the country too, by the way. I'm just not limited to those states. She's got teams all over the country. She's a first-generation cash flow millionaire, her and her husband. Also, her younger brother and sister, Erica and Hector Del Toro. Also, they've not only created themselves to be millionaires, but their brother and sister are also millionaires inside the company. So make sure you reach out to Marlene and Jose Gaytan. And if you're looking to say, you know what, I'm not waiting for the stimulus check. I'm sick and tired of this conversation about unemployment. And you're looking to make a difference. If you're United States a military veteran like myself and many others, I think in Marlene's organization, they have an unofficial promotion to senior vice president. I think we got a couple here getting promoted also former military. He and I served in the Operation Restore Hope in Somalia, Africa together. Looking to get promoted to senior vice president unofficially. We're going to wait to get to be official here in a week or two. But there's so many things happening right now in business. If you want to control something, control your income. If you want to control something, control the ability for you to provide for your family, to make sure the financial resources are provided for the kids, your kids' education, the zip code that you want to live in. We talk about vacations, the vacation you want to travel. And here's the best part about those vacations. If you rock with us here at PHP Agency, the best part of the best part of a world trip is a company paid trip. The company pays for it on their dime, and the money that you save by doing that, you take your parents, you take your children, you buy souvenirs. We have a great life potentially for you to live here. It's not easy, but it is very simple. If it's duplicatable to us, it's duplicatable to you if you are willing to do the work. With that being said, Edward, do you have 3 winners for us?
Absolutely. So I'm looking here on the PHP Live. I'm going to say the first one, Miriam Upchurch. Miriam Upchurch. That's her. Miriam Berry. Miriam Berry.
Okay.
And then I'm going to say
Miriam Berry, congratulations.
Ingardia Hindez. and Jason Cruz.
Jason Cruz. By the way, Jason Cruz, you're in Maui. I know who you are, brother. His wife just got insurance license. He doesn't know what insurance company to join yet. He's got a local agent there, or continue potentially rock with PHP Agency. Let's have that conversation, Jason Cruz. I appreciate you wanting to tune in to our YouTube content and looking forward to rocking together with you, because right now we have 0 licensed agents out in Maui. We love to build. We have 0 marketing directors. We have licensed agents there. We just don't have any marketers. We don't have any leaders building an office in Maui. And Edward, thank you for selecting our leaders. If you were chosen, please email podcast@phpagency.com, podcast@phpagency.com to claim your book and put on their book winner, winning. That's what you're going to get. That being said, guys, I'm excited for you. I'm excited for our month ahead. We got some crazy initiatives. August 9th through the 11th, we are going to be in Las Vegas for a national convention at the MGM Grand, Las Vegas, spectacular. We're looking to put 5 figures of people in there. It's going to be a crazy time there in the MGM Grand, Las Vegas. It's going to be a world-breaking, record-pacing type of evolution that we had because of post-pandemic. Everybody's looking to get out. But it's going to be a crazy time for all of us to be in Las Vegas. If you're looking for a firm to align with, you're looking for a firm to train you, equip you, create the full package of experience and evolution of your skill set and character set, PHP Agency just might be the company you might look to aligning together with. A lot of people are making an impact in the community, making an impact and making a difference in their bank accounts and their lives. With that being said, guys, on behalf of Edward Musgrove, our guest today, appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you coming on. Marlene, thank you so much again for being my co-host.
Thank you.
And I'm your Money Smart Guy. And until we meet again, continue to help people, continue to love people, and continue to change your lives today. Appreciate you tuning in, everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.